Hey guys, it's Frank the Tank, and in this video I'm going to be showing you my entire run in a tournament I recently participated in known as an 8-gamer. So if any of you have stuck around my channel, you probably heard me talk about this kind of tournament before, but if any of you who are new here and have never heard of this, allow me to explain. It's really simple. It's 8 games on 8 different pairs of lanes, and we are bowling on a house shot, nothing special. And honestly, this, in my opinion, if you guys have anything like this in your local bowling center, you definitely should participate in it because I feel, in my opinion, that it serves as great practice for the much bigger tournaments. Because in participating in a tournament like this, it just serves as great practice for you know what it's like to be in that kind of competitive type of environment surrounded by great bowlers, because it's definitely a completely different feel compared to league and practice, obviously. So yeah, you definitely don't learn how to, you get some experience in what it is like to be surrounded by people who like strike and spare, people who don't miss. And also, you know what it's like to play even more games rather than just the usual 3 like that you do on league night. You definitely learn how to adjust a lot because the lanes do dry up a lot. So yeah, it serves as a really great practice for a lot of things, especially like, you know, when you plan on participating in a much bigger, more difficult tournament and something that doesn't have just a house shot and something like a sports pattern. So again, for those of you who are new here, I will tell you this, that this is not my first time participating in an 8-gamer. It's actually my 4th time. The first time I participated in one of these was like, I think somewhere in late 2020. I can't remember the exact date, but I think it was somewhere in 2020, like probably in September or October, that I participated in my very first 8-gamer, and I surprisingly did a lot better than I expected to do because again, it was my first tournament. I'd never been in any kind of tournament of any kind. I'd never been in such an environment, so I definitely was going into this one very nervous, feeling very unprepared. But I surprisingly managed to average 206 in 8 games. So I felt like really good about it. And after that tournament was done, I felt like I'd learned a lot, and I felt like I could make a lot, like go to the next one with a lot of better choices, feeling a little more confident, feeling like I could do a lot better, and I did. I participated in my second 8-gamer. I don't know exactly when that one was. I think it might have been in that same year, but I managed to average 207, so just a little bit better. And then fast forward a year later, 2021, I participated in my third 8-gamer again, feeling like I'd learned a lot more, feeling like I'd made a lot of better choices, and it paid off. I managed to average 210, and I recorded that one for those of you who don't know that. Some of you may have seen it already, but for those of you who don't know about it, it's in here. I have it recorded. Check out my leagues and tournaments playlist. It's in there. It's divided into 2 parts. So yeah, very easy to find. And now here we are finally after quite a while. In 2022, definitely over a year now since I participated in one. And yeah, again, I feel like I'm going into this one with a lot more confidence. I feel like I've learned a lot more. I definitely learned how to adjust, watch pay more attention to the ball motion, see what the ball is doing, so that I know how much to adjust and how when to adjust. And that was the biggest thing for me, was learning how and when to make moves based on what the ball is doing. And also, I feel like I made a lot of better ball choices too. That's for sure, because that was the one thing that really killed me in the second and third 8-gamer that I participated in, was ball choices and how and when to make moves and how to handle when the right side of the lane, because obviously I'm a right-hander, how that right side of the lane starts to dry up, how to be able to handle that. So yeah, I guess the big question of this video is, have I improved? Well, we're going to find that out right now, so let's roll the clip. Okay, everybody, here we go. Starting things off on lanes 3 and 4, and no, I didn't request to be put on 3 and 4. That's where they randomly placed me. But I do believe that you can, if you message the host of the tournament like, you can make a request beforehand, like a reservation kind of thing beforehand, to what pair of lanes you want to be put on. I didn't do that. I settled for whatever I was given. And this is what I was given. I was put on lanes 3 and 4 to begin the tournament. And as for my ball choices, I went with the spare ball, as you guys saw. Yeah, a spare ball, a hustle wrap, a flux, the reality, the dark code, and the pitch black as well. Now, allow me to explain these ball choices. So, if any of you have been watching my league videos, you'll see what really has worked for me and what hasn't. And what I did in league really played a factor into what led to these ball choices. So, starting off with the pitch black, that was like a just in case kind of thing. Just in case anybody was, I guess, messed up enough to bring urethane, because let's be honest, urethane on a house shot should be considered a crime, as Stu Williams said, and I kind of agree with him. So yeah, I brought that just in case anybody dare tried to bring urethane, and based on what you guys, a lot of you guys have told me, the only way, one of the best ways to counter urethane is with urethane, so I brought that just in case. But I felt like a big part of me felt like, nah, I probably won't even have to pick it up at all, but I'll have it just in case. So yeah, spare ball and a pitch black. Right here we start on the right lane, and I picked up the flux to begin. I felt like it was the best ball to start off with. Let's see how I fared here first. Not bad. Good shot to start things off. And anyway, yeah, I went with the flux because, as you guys saw, I bowled a 753 series in league not too long ago with this ball, so of course I had to bring it, knowing how good it's been for me, and it has a lot of miss room with it, especially on the house shot. So I figured, you know what, this thing is gonna bring in the strikes, so I had to bring the flux. And I think I had brought it to every single 8-gamer I've been in, actually. I brought it to the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one, if I'm not mistaken. And then moving up the ladder, I believe, let's see, the flux. Yeah, I brought the reality. Because, again, I had bowled the 700 series with that in league. I did it on lanes 1 and 2, the pair that I hate the most. So, of course, I had to bring that. I had a good look with it. I know exactly where to line up with it. I knew exactly what to do with it. When I put that ball in my hands, and actually, that's what I got to say about every single ball that I packed here for this 8-gamer. Every ball that I put in my hand, suddenly bowling feels easier, if you know what I mean. It's like a comfort ball. So that's why that's one of the big reasons why I decided on every single ball that you guys see here. So yeah, the reality, of course, that was one of the other reasons, is I bowled the 700 series with it, so I had to bring that. And then let's see, so far we got the spare, the pitch black, the flux, the reality. The hustle wrap. How could I forget that? The hustle wrap. I had to bring that because, and I wasn't going to start off with it because I had a strategy. I had, knowing how good that ball can handle when the lanes start to dry up. That's why I knew way later in the block is when I was going to have to pick up that ball, because it handles the breakdown so well. You guys are actually going to see that here. So I knew, like, I've got all the bases covered. And then, of course, the dark code is like, when if I start struggling, if I start falling down, that thing is going to be the cushion right there for me to fall back on, just in case I start falling. So yeah, that's the reason for this 5-ball arsenal plus a spare. So yeah, not wanting to pick up the hustle wrap to begin, I figured the best choice would be to start with the flux. Not bad. Kind of slow ball speed. Ball went high, as you can see there, but luckily I managed to trip that 4-pin out of there. So now we've got back-to-back strikes to begin. And another thing I gotta mention is, I know if you watched the last 8-gamer that I posted on here, I actually added the shots of everybody that were on my pair, and I did that for a reason. One, there weren't a lot of people who participated in that tournament. There was only like 20 people. And two, The two people that shared the pair with me were Max Stumpet and Ebony Coronado. I knew them very well. I'd been in a couple of leagues with them. I'd never teamed up with them, but I do know them very well, so I figured just to make it interesting and a little more entertaining, I figured I'd add their scores in and do the entire thing uncut and unedited because of that. But for this one, an unfortunate split there, but for this one, I decided we were just focusing on my shots because there are 5 people to a pair, and I don't know anybody on this pair who was on this pair with me. So yeah, there were like 70 plus people that turned out for this tournament, and Mike Romero, the host, he said that is now officially his biggest turnout. So yeah, 70 plus. So yeah, congrats to him on that for achieving a new record high in participation, I guess. So yeah, 70 plus people. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe just 40 or so. But no, yeah, 70 people turned out for this tournament, which is insane. So yeah, not wanting to torture myself with a bunch of editing, I decided we're just going to focus on my shots. So there we go, an attempt there, and I got it. So I kept myself clean. We're still alive. Really great to start things off. So yeah, I definitely was walking into this one feeling the confidence. I wasn't feeling nervous. I wasn't feeling too worried about what the other bowlers on the pair were doing. I was focused on myself. I felt really great. Yeah, my spare shooting felt a lot more organized. My mental game felt a lot more solid. I loved that at the end of every tournament, I felt like I had learned something new, and I felt like I could walk into the next one performing even better than before. So I'm glad that I'm able to do that after every tournament, because if I didn't, then I'd honestly be wasting my own time. So yeah, fell down on that one, but it doesn't matter. Picked up my 10 pin, no problem. Alright, so here we go now on the 5th frame, I believe. No changes. Ball looked like it skidded a little bit, but you could tell by that light hit. But hey, strike is a strike. But I did keep that in mind, how that ball hit the pins. So with this flux, I had lined up on the left and right lane on board 20. So not starting too far to the left, especially because of the layout that I put on this ball. And you see that? You see what I mean? Like the ball, it did get back around the corner, but not enough to really slap into the pocket. So I got a couple lucky hits there. I've already lost what frame we're on. Stood up on that, got it a little left of target, and I left the 3-6-10. And you could see I knew it immediately. So that shows right there. That's an example that I am paying attention to ball motion. I know when the ball, I know when it's bad off my hand. I know when it's good off my hand. And unfortunately, I chopped on that one, and I could tell. Like, I was hoping maybe for some kind of deflection to take all the pins out, but I kind of knew straight away that one was probably going to chop because of the direction that I sent it. So I knew now that I had set myself up as a result of that chop that I had to strike out. Otherwise, I was in danger of lowering my max score. A little bit aloft, got it to the right, but it came back really nicely. All right, I think we're on the 9th frame now. Now that I know exactly where that miss was. Not bad. That was a pretty good hit. I like that one. All right, here we go. 10th frame, and we're walking into it with already a 2-bagger. So we've set ourselves up nicely in the 10th frame. I kind of dropped that one. Luckily it held. Like I said, this flux, man, I know a lot of you are probably getting annoyed by the fact that I've kept saying this, but that flux has a lot of mystery. If this flux were still available, I would tell you guys to get one right away because it is so good on the house shot. But unfortunately, it's been discontinued for quite some time. But I guess I gotta give my thanks to Sean Rash because he was basically the reason why I picked this ball up. I saw him using it on the PBA Tour in like 2020, saw the way it shaped, saw how it read the lane, and I'm like, dude, I want to try that. Plus, it's bright orange. It looks really nice. That's weird, right? Like, I could tell instantly by the ball reaction he was getting when he was throwing the flux down the lane. I could tell, like, dude, that ball is for me. I gotta try it. I was lucky, though, because at the time I was trying to look for it, it wasn't too hard to find it. But nowadays, oh man, is it hard to find. Fell off on that one, got it to the right. I'll tell you, House shot gives you a lot of room to miss, and if you can find a ball that gives you a lot of miss room on a house shot, then you're definitely bound to get a lot of strikes. Because remember, let's all be honest, the house shot is designed to do that, to help you even if you make mistakes, and then, of course, also the kind of ball that you choose as well. So we end things on a high note, pretty good, not bad. 229 to start, closing it out with 5 strikes in a row. That's what I like to see. Definitely needed that after that chop that I did. Like somewhere in the 7th frame. So here we go with game 2 now on lanes 5 and 6. Continuing with my same game plan because I knew obviously the lanes aren't going to dry up that quickly. So I stood up on that one because I had dropped it. I knew it. I felt it right off my hand that it kind of slipped off, that the ball just slipped off my hand and it didn't get back, as you could see there. Obvious evidence of that. So yeah, I even felt it necessary to bring the black Belmo spare ball because I'm not sure if any of you remember, any of you who have stuck around at the channel and remember the things that I've said in the past, you'll know that I talked about the black Belmo spare ball being 14 pounds and how it was surprisingly a lot easier for me to pick up my spares because it was just a little bit lighter. And usually that's not a good idea from what I have been told. You want to keep everything at the same weight because having something at a different weight eliminates variables for consistency because obviously, you know, having 15 pounds, like everything at 15 pounds is good because if you're like, okay, like say like I'm so used to using 15 pounds, I'm used to the weight, I like it. If I were to go down to 12 pounds, it would be a lot more difficult for me to be accurate and consistent because the ball is way too light. I don't have that leverage, I guess. But yeah, with that 14 pounds, it's surprisingly not too light to the point where I would, you know, mess up my spares. It's actually like the weight is just right and it feels a lot easier for me to pick up my spares. So I felt like that was a good strategy, you know, for my spares to bring this 14-pound Belmo spare ball. And you'll see, you will definitely see it. But yeah, I definitely kept that in mind, how easy it was for me to pick up a 14-pound spare ball to be able to pick up my spares and how easier it was compared to a 15-pound spare ball. So here we go, right lane now, fell off on it, again to the right, too much to the right, and look at that. Yep, got a very, very lucky break there. Alright, so here we go back on the left lane. I believe we're on the 3rd frame now, after a very, very lucky strike on the right. Not bad. Very good. Perfect placement. Okay, back on the right after 2 in a row. Messed that one up for sure. I was lucky that it got back, but I lined it up to the pocket too much, and as a result, a 10 pin. So I will say this, out of all the 70 people that showed up, if I had to guess, I didn't pay too much attention to it, but if I had to guess, there was probably maybe about 4 or 5 people, including myself, who were utilizing this two-handed style. The rest of the field were just traditional one-handed bowlers. Alright, so after that 9 spare, I'm 2 for 2 on 10 pins, and you're definitely going to want to pay attention to that because if there's... Alright, picking up 10 pins in league play or tournament play is difficult because, you know, obviously the feeling is different compared to practice. They're a lot easier to pick up in practice compared to an event like this, so gonna see how I'm handling that. So far I'm 2 for 2, and as you can see, we made a ball change to the reality because of what I had going on with the flux. Had a light hit going on there. Luckily it struck, no problem at all, but that was because you could see I kind of gave it a little bit more of a forward roll kind of thing there. You could tell by my release too, but yeah, with the flux, I wasn't feeling it anymore. It was starting to slip off my hand. I don't know what was going on with me, but I didn't want to, like, I guess, force myself to try to figure out, like, you know, to try to get around whatever that problem was that I was having, you know, especially with the ball slipping off of my hand. So I figured, let's just go to the reality because I'm just as good with that ball too, even though I'm going to have to move a little more left, but no problem at all. So I guess that could be considered a very important tip if you're going to do something like this. Pick out an arsenal that is the most comforting to you. Every single ball has to feel like as soon as it's in your hand, you have to know exactly how it's going to roll, when it reads the lane, how it shapes, where to line up with it. It basically, like mentally, bowling has to feel easy when that ball is in your hands. It has to be a comfort ball. And that is what every ball does for me. You see, like the reality, I knew exactly what to do. I lined up on board 22 with that ball, and I knew exactly what it was going to do. And also, I don't know if I forgot to mention this, and I'm pretty sure you guys saw it when I was showing you my arsenal. The reality, I had the surface changed down to like 1500. Not 1500 polish, but 50. I had more surface added to it, so 1500 grit something. I don't know what it's called, but I know it's sanded down to 1500 for sure. So yeah, every single ball that I had brought with me is a comfort ball for me. I know, like, I feel more confident with the ball, with every single ball that I've got. I feel everything feels easier. And we leave another 10 pin. I believe that's our third 10 pin of this event, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody help me keep count here, please. All right, so here I go. Fell off on it a little, but it doesn't matter. I'm 3 for 3 on 10 pins, and the reason I'm putting a little bit more attention into the spares is because obviously I want to see how well I handle my spares, how much I've did the practice on all the spare shooting that I've done. Has it paid off? Have I really cleaned it up? You know. Obviously, I did say that I walked into this thing feeling a lot more confident with my spare shooting and everything else, but we're going to see. Did the practice really pay off? And, you know, also another thing, you know, I'm that type of guy, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. When you have that one day where you're just leaving a lot of 10 pins and you're picking a lot of them up, you always eventually miss just one of them. And that's me. You know, if I'm leaving a bunch of 10 pins, I eventually miss at least one. So far, I'm 3 for 3 on 10 pins. Not bad. Perfect. And I still haven't made any changes to my game plan. Still standing on 22. Lining up on board 22 on the left and right lane. Still using this reality. Not bad. Got my hand around that one real nice. Beautifully done. Alright, here we go on the right. And I don't even know where I'm at this point, but I want to take a guess that this is the 10th frame. That was nice. Ah, but it hooked a little too much. And I believe, I do remember that I looked up at the monitor because I felt like the shot was so good, but why it went through the nose like that. And then I looked up at the monitor and I noticed that the speed was just a little bit slower. So I figured that that was the reason why that happened. So yeah, now I can confirm we're officially on the 10th frame of game 2. And that totally ruined my chances of trying to get another high game. I mean, obviously we made it into the 200s already, but, you know, when you have the chance to make it even higher, obviously you're going to want to go for that. So I tried to go for it, couldn't pick it up, and as a result, we end up with the 212 for game number 2. So we still got another 200 games, so we're 2 for 2 on 200 games, which was one of my goals for this tournament. And yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a bummer for me. All right, so now we move to lanes 7 and 8. We now have a 229 and a 212. So we're 2 for 2 in achieving. I know that sounds crazy, but it's obvious. It is doable, right? I mean, it's only a house shot, and it is 8 games, and I will say that I'm glad that I conditioned myself to be able to go for 8 games because that's one thing that I do in practice is I don't just play like 3 or 4 games. I play 8 because like I want to be able to be well conditioned for something like this because obviously, you know, like in the PBA, they play tons upon tons of games in a matter of days. And that is both mentally and physically exhausting. So without a doubt, mentally, this can definitely affect your game. So I wanted to be prepared for that. So I felt like I was definitely able to go for these 8 games. I wasn't going to suffer any kind of physical or mental problem here. But here we go on the right lane. Left of target, and as a result, we leave a 3 and the 6. Still good on my spares, not including any splits. And that chop on the 3-6-10 in game 2, I believe. Okay, here we go. Left lane to begin. What are we going to do? So this one right here was definitely like a test shot for me. And that one right there, I tried the best I could to pay attention to what my ball was going to do. I still lined up on board 22 for that one, and then I thought, okay, maybe if I just adjust half a board because of that. Obviously, the ball went kind of high to the point where I left that 4-pin. No problem at all with my spare shooting. We're still doing good on that. All right, now I can't remember exactly why I did this, but I decided we were going to go with the dart code. So we have yet another ball change already by game 3. There it is. Ball came back, no problem. And I think what the reality did on that left lane definitely played a part into why I decided to go with the dart code already. And you have to keep in mind that a lot of the people that were here, I watched what they were doing, and a lot of them were just throwing it up that right side, down that right side of both lanes. So I thought, okay, that part I definitely want to stay away from because that's the part that's definitely going to dry up pretty quickly. So I thought, well, why not move to the very left with the dart code and the reality and all that, so that way I'll have all that oil to myself, because nobody on my pair were playing as left as I was, and I wasn't sure, I wasn't paying too much attention to what people on to the right of us were doing, because obviously those were going to be the pairs that we were going to play on next, and we had to, I know we did have to keep in mind what they were doing as well, and what part of the lane they were playing, the kind of ball they were using. So, but yeah, a part of me knew very well that with that dart code I wasn't going to have any problems, because I was definitely going to have all of that left side to myself. And like I've said before, I don't know what it is with that dart code. I don't know why it's so easy for me to play the line that I play with this ball. But like I said, when I feel like nothing is working, I turn to this ball because I know it's gonna come in clutch with the strikes. All right, here we go on the 5th frame, I believe, after 2 in a row, trying to go for 3. Oh, I felt like I'd gotten that one to the right a little too early, but luckily the ball just stuck there and decided, I'll help you out there, and it went straight to the pocket. And as a result, we now have 3 in a row, plus an 8 spare and a 9 spare. All right, 6th frame, really nice form, I like it, good hit, and now we got 4 in a row. We're doing this one really nicely. All right, back on the right, after 4 in a row, trying to go for 5 in a row. I tell you, I don't, again, I don't know what led to me switching to the dart code this early, but I'm glad that I did it. All right, back on the left, and I've already lost count of where we were. Does it matter? We continue on striking. All right, I'm going to take a guess and say that we're on the 9th frame. I'm not too sure. Oh, light hit, but luckily I got away with it, and we continue with the strikes. All right, I think we've made it to the 10th frame, all with strikes except for the 1st and 2nd frame. Nice. I like that. I was lucky, though. You could see how the ball kind of just stopped. It didn't continue turning. And the 10, I was lucky. That technically should have been like a 10-pin. All right, here I go for my 2nd shot in the 10th. Fell off on it. Got it to the right a little too early, but luckily the miss room is there. All right, here we go for my final shot in the 10th frame. Can we close it out all strikes? Posting the shot at the foul line. I knew it. I knew it off my hand, and we finished it off with the 279. Now that is what I'm talking about. All right, so here we go. We have made it halfway through the competition, game number 4, after that incredible 279 in game 3. And I was lined up on board 27, might I add, for that 279 game. And I continued lining up on board 279. I continued lining up on board 27 on this left lane. This was going to be like a test shot for me, obviously, because I hadn't been on 9 and 10, and I don't know how or if these lanes had broken down enough. So there I went. I watched. I saw that, and I thought, okay, good. We're still on a roll here. So yeah, I knew that at this point in the competition, I was definitely going to have to pay a lot of attention to what my ball does, because I just felt like it was at this point where the lanes were going to start to break down just a little bit, and then by game 5, it's definitely going to start to see some some dry parts on the lanes. But after that, I thought on the left lane, I thought, okay, we're good. Now I'm going to make another test shot on this lane just to see. So we're still lined up on 27. Let it go. And if I'm not mistaken, if my count is correct, that is 12 strikes in a row. So that means that I think that I have officially bowled a Herrera 300. So that's cool, 12 in a row. Let's actually do the math here. Okay, so according to this, in game 3, I bowled 10 in a row, plus those 2, that's 12 in a row. So I think I have officially bowled a Herrera 300. So that is pretty awesome. I didn't even know that when I was out there, because obviously I want to keep my head clear of anything. I just want to focus on myself, my game, trying to execute good shots. I didn't want to put anything in my head. I didn't even bother to, I was kind of like doing the math with like the scores and stuff, but I did not once think of that, holy crap, I just bowled 12 in a row. So here I go, still lined up on 27. Yeah, unfortunately, that one, I felt like I'd gotten into the ride just a little early there. And obviously the lane's kind of drying up just a little bit. I feel played a part in that. I felt like if the lane was a little more fresh, it probably would have made its way down there. Because how many times did I get that dart coat to the right too early, and it kind of stayed just a little bit enough to get it to the pocket, and then this ends up happening. See, that is evidence of it right there. You see how that spare ball kind of curved a little bit? That was evidence of that right there. All right, here we go on the right lane after that split in the third. Trying to get back on the strike train. Good shot. Oh, that was a high hit. And from that, I basically had a confirmation like, okay, the lanes have dried up just a little. I'm probably going to have to move over to the left just a little bit. But then I was thinking to myself, do I want to continue using this dart code? I will admit that I never did actually test out, like I never did experiment with this dart code, like when the lanes dry up right down there towards that break point. I never really tested, can I continue chasing left with this ball? Because again, I'm already lined up on board 27 even if the lanes are fresh, so I don't know if I want to count on this ball to be able to do that. I was lucky there. I mean, I got it left of target compared to what I did the last time. And I definitely threw it with a little bit more power. You could see the ball traveled down there with a little more speed. All right, so here we go back on the right lane. And I moved to 27.5 off of that shot that I made the last time on 27. And that one was a bad shot off my hand. I kind of knew it. I didn't put enough hand off it, on it. And obviously you could see that I fell off on my shot there. And yeah, as a result, the ball didn't come back, so now I was going to have to waste another frame to try to see if standing on 27.5 was the right move. And for this, I actually thought to myself, okay, the lane may be a little bit dry, but this dart code hooks a lot. So I thought maybe I could stand on, I believe it was board 13, send it down the right side, and it will have enough hook to make it in between that too. So I did it. Didn't send it there with speed, and I got it. And I was like, heck yes, man. I'm still clean. I'm still alive. I could still salvage this. All right, here we go on the 7th frame now after that baby split on the other side. Leaned into that one too much. And that one right there, to the right, just a pinch too early. You could see that. Got another high hit, and now I have surprisingly a 10 pin to deal with and not a 4. And I do believe now that this is my 4th 10 pin that I have to deal with. Can I go 4 for 4? Yes, I can. All right, 8th frame after a 9 spare on the left. Definitely moved a little more left after that. And yeah, I was on 27.5 for that one. And I thought, okay, definitely the right move that was made. I just wish I hadn't thrown a bad shot the last time that was on this right lane. And I remember, I thought to myself here, based off of what I saw on those bad shots that I made on the left lane, and what the ball was doing, I thought, okay, I don't want to move to 27.5 on this left lane. I want to line up on 28 because I felt like that was not too much of a move to the left. I felt like it was just right. Unfortunately, I made a bad shot there, left of target, and as a result, I have the Greek church to deal with now. No lucky bounce, unfortunately, and that leads to another open frame in this game. And that definitely, if that split in the third didn't kill it, then this split definitely did. And now, as a result, my chance at trying to go 200 on every single game is totally dead now. It was fun while it lasted. All right, so here we go on the 10th frame now, on the right. Little bit of loft there. And as you can see, the ball didn't necessarily, it basically kind of looked like it hydroplaned, and as a result, another 10 pin to deal with. So I think that's my 5th one. Can I go 5 for 5? Yes, I can. 5 for 5. We're still good on our 10 pins. Alright, here we go into game number 5 after that really crappy 183. That one definitely was going to lower my average, so I definitely was going to have to make it up in these next set of games. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention here, unfortunately my camera malfunctioned. I don't know why it did this, but this has been happening quite a bit lately, and it's causing me some concern. But the camera decided to shut off because I guess the memory card wasn't placed correctly, and also the battery apparently wasn't placed correctly inside the camera, so I had to kind of like adjust it a little bit. And yeah, as a result, I ended up missing, I think, the first shot, which doesn't really matter because it was a split. It wasn't a split, it was an open frame anyway. I got 6, and then I was only able to pick up 3 more. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I ended up with an open frame in the first, so I think we're skipping to the 2nd frame if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so I continued using the dark code because I still felt like I could still be able to use it and not have to worry about the ball, you know, checking too early. And I made a bad shot there, turned around on it, went Brooklyn. I got lucky there, but I felt like, if I'm not mistaken, I think at this point in the event, I started feeling like I couldn't mentally get myself to be able to execute good shots with the dark code anymore, and I do believe that it was at this point where I made a ball change, but I'm not sure yet. Alright, so here we go on the right lane, still using the dark code, so I hadn't made that ball change yet. Gave that ball a little bit of a forward roll, and the ball got back nicely. Alright, here we go on the left lane, and I believe at this point I moved to board 30. So we're very left. Look at that. High hit, and I'm like, Jesus, I think I'm going to have to start making some changes. And you could tell, too, when the ball hit the pins and I saw that 4, I was like, Jesus, that was close. But here we go on the right lane, and I do believe I had adjusted to just 29 on this right lane because it wasn't as bad as it was on the left lane. Nice. Very nice. You know, I do gotta say that I'm quite surprised at how easy it is for me to be able to play this far left like it's nothing. I mean, I always pictured that it'd be difficult for me, but no, it's not. And I will admit, I hadn't really practiced playing this far left. I just did it. And it just became so easy. Alright, so here we go back on the right lane, but I think, yeah, this was a shot that was obstructed, unfortunately. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I remember that. So, yeah, we managed a 5-bagger, which I got to say, pretty impressive recovery after that 183. And we end up with the split in the 7th. Imagine if I'd have gotten that. That would have been pretty tight. All right, here we go on the left after that split.
I'm smashing the pocket.
Very nice. I like it. Brilliantly done. And yeah, you see the look on my face. I'm like, Jesus, how much more lucky can I get? And that was left of target for sure. Yep, and we leave the 6. Was going to be the 6 and the 10, but now it's just a 6. And we managed to pick it up with no issues whatsoever. Alright, so here we go now. 10th frame of game 5.
You don't have to say anything.
Ah, man, I really wanted that one. I thought that the shot was pretty good, but unfortunately I had a little more speed than I did rev rate on that one, so it kind of makes sense why that happened there. I mean, you could totally see the deflection when the ball hit the pocket. But here we go. I don't know. Is this my 5th 10 pin or my 6th? I don't even know. I've lost count. Again, I hope you guys are helping me keep count here. But the main point is here, I have not missed a 10 pin. But anyway, last shot in the 10th. Definitely cupped the wrist a little more. And I got very lucky there. High hit and another strike to end it with a 214. So yeah, here we go for game 6, and one thing I definitely did, because we managed to finish our games before the people who were on 13 and 14 were done, and I noticed some things, and I thought, dang, I'm really going to have to make some moves to the left, because I saw some parts of the lane where their bowling balls were checking quite early, so yeah, I definitely felt like I was going to have to make some moves, but I still continued with the dart code, and I believe I was still standing on 30 here, so not too much of a move. Fell off on it, but it didn't matter. The ball made its way nice and easy around the corner, and we're now 2 for 2. So you could definitely see that there were no check spots on these lanes, and you know, that's the beauty about the dart code, is because of its high differential I can be that far left, and obviously it's really quite obvious that nobody is that far left in comparison. I mean, there might be a few, but you know, they're nowhere near me. The ball did look like, did you guys see how it kind of grabbed right there, like right about there? I swear I saw something there, and you saw the ball lined up to the pocket for a good amount of time, so it makes sense that that 10 pin stood. When you get your ball to line up to the pocket with that amount of time, then you're bound to leave a 10 pin for sure. Here we go, another 10 pin. We're still clean on our 10 pins. Oh man, did you guys see that? There's a check spot right there. The ball definitely decided to hit friction early because there's a little dry spot right there. And I don't know if you could see based on my reaction, but I was like, oh, dang. Okay, this right lane's definitely got something there. So I knew now that picking up spares was probably going to be a little bit more tricky. I was definitely going to have to move a little bit more to the left. Look at that. Skinny jeans right there. So I thought, okay, picking up spares on this right lane is going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm definitely going to have to move a little more left than where I usually stand for any kind of spare on the right side. All right, so the lanes drying up is now going to start to play a part right here. And you're going to see it. Watch this. Look at that. You could see it. You could just tell. I mean, yeah, okay, I got that ball to the right a little too early, but you could definitely see that little dry spot right there that got the ball to hook early like that. So yeah, like for example, here we have this pin right here. I definitely had to move a little more left than what I usually do. See what I mean? The ball refused to go right. It like kind of made its way down, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going this way. I'm going to stay here, and then I'm going to hook left a little bit. And there, you could see me right there. This is where I made the ball change. I grabbed that dart code, I got it out of there, and I realized, okay, it's time to get rid of this dart code and try for something else. So at this point in the game is when I finally decided to pick up the hustle wrap. See, this is what this was for. It's obviously a high RG and low differential ball, which means it's going to get way further down the lane, and it's not going to hook a lot. It's perfect for this type of condition. So for that, I stood on 23.5 as a test shot, because I thought, okay, well, this ball having this ball getting way down there, and this ball not having a whole lot of hook to it, I figured, okay, maybe let's try standing there and see, will it be enough, or will I have to make a move to the left? And that shot was obvious evidence that I'm not left enough. Okay, so based off of what I saw on the right lane, I then thought, okay, I'm going to move to 25 on the left lane because without a doubt this left lane is dry too. So I thought, okay, we're going to move to 25 and see what happens there, and it'll definitely be, like, give me an answer to what I need to do on the right lane as well. So I tossed it, and I thought, okay, I got a high hit, but I'm almost there. So I thought, okay, I have an idea what I need to do on the right lane now. All right, so here we go on the left, and I made the move to 26, I believe. Yeah, 26. I got it to the right a little too early, went through the nose, and I thought, wow, this lane is really dry. Not sure if you could see my face there. I even went, wow, like, this is crazy. Yeah, I was definitely a little nervous about these 3.610s because of how dry the lanes were. Look at that. You see that? Like, again, I'm not sure if you could see my face there. I was like, wow, man. Picking up spares is not going to be easy from this point on. All right, so after that 7 spare in the 8th, here we go on the 9th. I stood on 26 after being on 25 on this left lane, and I made sure that I would try to execute the right shot this time. Look at that. Jesus Lord. Again, I got lucky there. That was to the right too early, and you saw how the ball wanted to start to turn early. So the lane's definitely dry, without a doubt. If you couldn't see it then, well, you should definitely be able to see it now. Okay, so we made it to the 10th frame, and after that shot that I made on the right lane where I got it to the right too early, I think is what it was, I thought, okay, I'm still going to stand on 26 because I do believe that that might be the right shot. Again, we couldn't tell because I made a bad shot the last time I was on this right lane, so I definitely had to figure that out right here. And there it was. I thought, okay, I found it. I've made the right move. All right, so here I go again for the second shot in the 10th. To the right too early. And the ball did not get back as a result, which was kind of a little surprising because obviously the lane being dry in that part down there, you'd think that it kind of would, but it didn't. And part of that reason was definitely because of how I fell off on my shot. It made me put a little bit more of like a forward roll type of thing, so the ball didn't want to get back around the corner. And take a look at this. This right here was a slap in the face right here. Take a look. Placement was pretty good, but I overcut it and the ball went right around that 10 pin, so I didn't pick up that split. So yeah, there we go, ending game number 6 with the 220, which I still gotta say, pretty good, not bad, considering the fact that the lanes have now officially broken down, and this is where, like, I thought to myself, okay, here's my chance to really see how I can handle when the lanes have dried up, because that is something that I have not practiced enough, but now I get to see how I'm able to handle it. Have I improved on that? Because that is, like I said, if I didn't mention in the beginning of the video, that is the one thing that really killed me in the second and third 8 gamers that I participated in, was the lanes breaking down. I didn't know how to handle it, and part of the reason also that contributed to that was the bad ball choices that I made. I didn't have the right type of bowling balls for that sort of situation. And obviously, knowing now my equipment a lot better than I did then, I knew the hustle wrap was going to be perfect for this sort of thing, and that's why I picked it up. So here we go on game 7 on the right, with the hustle wrap still, standing on a 27 like I was with the dark code. And then I thought, oh, like we got something here already. We're already lined up on the right lane. So if any of you were wondering, how much have these lanes dried up? Let me show you. Watch this. Okay, so with this hustle wrap on a fresh lane, I line up on board 18 and a half. We're now standing on 27. That's where I stand with the dark code on a fresh lane. That's how dry the lanes have gotten, guys. Look at that. Just look at that. Are you serious? These lanes are dry as hell. But yeah, so far it looks like I'm handling it quite well. So here we go on the right. Man, I got lucky there. The 7 stood. That was kind of a light hit. It looked like a pretty good, solid hit, but it really wasn't. All right, so here we go on the left, and unfortunately you can't see it because this dude obstructed the view. But we did get another strike. All 10 fell down. So we're now, I believe, 3 in a row. All right, here we go back on the right after, I believe, 3 in a row. Man, I am so bad at keeping count or keeping track of this stuff. But there we go, 9 spare after a 4-bagger, I believe. So yeah, at this point, I thought, you know what, I'm going to play it safe. I don't want my scores to suffer, so I thought, okay, I'm probably just going to start hooking at most of my spares now. All right, here I go again. Left lane, real nice. And from that, I started thinking, whoa, like, I got kind of lucky that there was just a little bit of hold there. You guys could see. It didn't necessarily seem like a high hit because all the pins disappeared. There was no 4-pin that stood, like, a little bit later than the rest. But I thought, dang, do I stay here or should I make a move? Because making the move to the left would obviously mean a very light hit, which means less likely to strike. But at the same time, like, do I stay there and, you know, I don't know. I was conflicted at this point. All right, back on the right after I don't even know what. But there I go, a little bit aloft. And the ball made it back around the corner, but with a very light hit. And I didn't really put a whole lot of hand on it with that one because I thought maybe I could use that dry spot to get the ball to come back, but it didn't. And as a result, that's an 8-pin now that we have to deal with. The dry spot didn't help me then, but it decided to screw with me here. Look at this. Oh, I got very lucky there. Skinny jeans yet again. Wow, did you guys see that? My God, these lanes are getting drier and drier by the frame. Yeah, so again, having to move a little bit more left to pick up this spare than I usually do. See that? Even the spare ball is refusing to go more right. It's just like staying there and then moving just a little bit left. All right, we are now in the 9th frame. Unfortunately, this shot was blocked too by this guy's arm. And I couldn't tell you what happened there, but yeah, we left the, what is that, the 4 and the 7. If there's one thing that I definitely need to work on the next time I practice, it's my form for my spares. Like you see, like how many times have I done that in this video already? Falling off balance at the foul line with my spare shooting. Happens in League too. All right, so here we go for the 10th frame now, and I forgot to mention, this is crazy, but at this point, I am now lined up on board 30 with this hustle wrap. I forgot to mention that halfway through the game. That's when I decided to make that switch. Look at that. Those are some insane angles. I can't believe that I am that far left with the hustle wrap. All right, here I go again for the second shot. Dropped that one. Luckily, that dry spot down there kind of helped me out, but Jesus, I hella dropped that one. You guys saw that. It was way too obvious. All right, last shot. Can we strike out? Lord knows it's been a while since I've struck out in the 10th. Better. Too light a hit. 7 stood, but something came and knocked it out, and as a result, we strike out, and we finished game number 7 with a 236. So we're handling the lanes drying up really, really well. Finally, we have made it to the last game. Good Lord. I feel like I'm more fatigued talking about this sitting here than I was out there actually doing it. All right, here we go. First shot of the last game. And I'm still lined up on board 30 at this point. A little bit of loft. Sending that ball down there. Pretty good hit. I mean, I saw that deflection. I mean, look at where the ball ended up after leaving the pin deck. So, kind of a little bit of a concern there, though. All right, here we go back on the right lane now for frame 2. Left of target. Man, that ball never really looked like it turned, did it? All right, I don't know how many 10 pins now. I hope someone's keeping count. That I want to say maybe that's my 7th 10 pin, and I have not missed them. All right, left lane. After a strike and 9 spare. Thank God this thing didn't go past 8 games. I don't think I could handle moving any more left. Look at that. The ball did not want to go any more right. It just wanted to stay right there once it got down there. You could even see me. I'm like, oh God, please don't chop. All right, on the right. 4th frame now. Oh, what a light hit. I got lucky there. And one thing that I did, I actually changed my release a little bit. I forgot to mention this because obviously that dry spot being down lane, I felt like I could use that to my advantage to get the ball to come back around the corner, and I felt like I wouldn't have to cup the wrist as a result. I have a trick where I can cup and uncup the, like do 2 different releases where one without cupping the wrist so I don't put as many revs on it, and another where I can cup the wrist and really get my hand up underneath it and give it more revs. In this case, I didn't do that. So I'll definitely probably have to show you guys how I do that. I mean, it's nothing like complicating or whatever, but I definitely had the wrist uncupped here. You can actually see. Let's see if we can actually pause it just to show you. Yeah, you could see there, like my hand is not necessarily like underneath the ball, it's more up there. You could see it. So that right there is one of my 2 different releases that I like to do. This one, obviously, to put less revs on it. And then the other one where I like, before I even start moving, I put the ball like on the, like kind of like on the palm of my hand. That's the one where I want to get more underneath the ball and put more revs on it. But in this case, I didn't do that. I just let the ball sit on my hand. So again, yeah, that's definitely something that I'm definitely going to have to show you guys that you can try. So to put less revs on it. And in this case, I put less revs on it. And as a result, see, evidence of it right there. The ball didn't really get back. And at this point, I thought maybe I should have cupped the wrist so that I could get the ball to come back. But again, I was like, at this point, I was lost. And I was feeling a little bit of the fatigue mentally, not physically. And I just didn't know what to do. And I felt like I was just going to have to spare to survive at this point. I'm not going to lie. I got quite lucky here. Take a look. Man, these lanes are so dry. Again, very, very lucky that this thing does not go past 8 games because I don't know that I could take this anymore. I've got my weakest ball and I'm already on lane, like lined up on board 30 for Christ's sakes.
Without them, this is not possible.
Yeah, the ball just totally died on its reaction right there. Alright, so again, I'm not keeping count of the 10 pins, but if I had to guess, this is probably my 8th 10 pin, and I have not missed. Can I go 8 for 8, if my count is correct? Fell off on it, but still good on my 10 pins. Thank Christ. Alright, 7th frame on the left. A little left of target right there for sure. And leaving the 6-10. And yeah, at this point, I wasn't even able to execute good shots either. It was either the lanes that were just, you know, too messed up to a point where I couldn't figure it out, either that, or I just couldn't execute anymore. Like, I was mentally fatigued here. Oh, I was lucky that I didn't chop there. It looked like I had set it up to chop. All right, on the right lane now. And I left the 3-6-10, and I'm telling you guys, like, a combination of things are happening here. I can't execute good shots. The lanes are so messed up now at this point. So that definitely shows that I still have to kind of work on being able to handle bowling on a pair of lanes that are so dried up. It shows that I still have to work on that. All right, here we go. 9th frame now. I cupped the wrist on that one. You could totally see it. And yeah, you see, I'm like, Jesus, finally, I got one. All right, finally, we made it to the 10th frame of the last game. Believe me, I'm getting tired of just talking. My head hurts. But there's so much ground to cover here. Fell off on it. And it looked good, but That 9 pin, what does that tell you? I'm pretty sure you already know. I don't have to explain it to you. But yeah, there I go, picking up that and moving on. At this point, yeah, I was just kind of like done with it. I wanted it to be over because I was tired. I was feeling a little bit bored. Again, I'm going back to the mentally fatigued thing. And physically, yeah, I was starting to feel very tired too. This thing started at 11 and it ended at like 5 p.m. This thing went on for hours. But yeah, there you go. The ball went high. It left the 4 pin, and I ended up with the 191. So I'm glad that my spare shooting was good enough to save me here, because if it wasn't, this game would have been 10 times worse. But I managed to spare to survive, and I ended that with a 191. All right, guys, so here is the 8-gamer results. Good God, what a marathon that was. But yeah, Game 1, we started off pretty hot with the 229. And then Game 2, we went a little bit down with the 212 with 441 pins. And we decreased from a 229 average to 220.5. And then in Game 3, I really made it up with the 279. And it just dawned on me that after 3 games, I achieved a 700 series. So that's pretty awesome that I was able to achieve that. I never really realized that, and I'm glad I didn't do the math while I was out there, because that definitely would have played with my head. But I increased to a 240 average as a result. And then Game 4, I totally ruined it with the 183, pushing my average down to 225.75. And Game 5, I went up to a 214, so that didn't really help it a lot, as my average went to 223. And then Game 6, I went to a 220. And again, it didn't really help my average, as I went down a point to 222. And then Game 7, brought it back up with the 236, and it pushed my average to 224. And then Game 8, we had to spare to survive, and we finished it with the 191 with a total of 1764 and an average of 220.5. So the question that I asked in the very beginning, did I improve? Absolutely I did. My spare shooting was great. My decisions were a lot better. I was able to recognize what was going on. Like you guys could obviously see, I made the adjustments, the proper adjustments, except for, what happened in Game 8. Clearly I was lost. I was fatigued. I was just over it. But yeah, I was definitely able to watch and pay more attention to ball motion. Yeah, everything was an improvement without a doubt. Spare shooting, mental game, making the right ball choices, bringing the right balls to league for sure. And then obviously the score speaks for itself as to how much I improved. The last 8-gamer I did, which was on camera, was a 210 average that I finished out with, and here we are with now a 220 average. So massive improvement. Not just in my scores, obviously in everything else, and picking the right arsenal, making the right choices, knowing how and when to adjust was definitely improved, but I still feel that I need to work on it. My form at the foul line definitely needs to be worked on, as I fell off on a lot of shots there, especially with my spare shooting. But nonetheless, I improved, and that is what matters most. So with the next 8-gamer, I don't know that I plan to participate in it. I think it's going to be coming in October, but because, again, I don't know what my schedule is going to be looking like, but I definitely do want to participate in another one. But I don't know, but we've improved, and that's the big thing. So we achieved that. I didn't miss a single 10-pin spares. That was awesome, because like I said, I'm that type of guy that when I have a handful of 10-pin spares that I got to deal with, I always end up missing just at least one, and I didn't miss a single one. So bravo to me for that. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the scores here. Okay, so this is the result from the handicap side, and this one really is like, I don't like it. Take a look at this. So for me, I ended up placing 26th with the series that I got. So 1796 on with my handicap score. They used my 214 average from the last league, which is something I didn't realize. I thought they were going to be using my current league average, but they didn't do that. But yeah, 1764 again. That was my series. And yeah, this is why I don't like handicap. Take a look at this. The winner was this guy right here with the 181 average, and he posted a score of 1761. So clearly, that 181 average that he has is an absolute lie. And this guy, as well, with the 183 average, posted a 1688 series total. 1913 in handicap, and then 2009 for this guy who won it. Absolutely ridiculous. Clearly, these averages, I don't know where they came from. I'm going to assume that maybe they came from a league that they did a long time ago, because there's no way in heck that you could post a series this high and have an average that low. It's just not possible. So yeah, I hate to say it, but I gotta call sandbagging right there. But nothing I can do about it now. But now we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you the scratch result side. That is something that I also signed up for, and so yeah, that's something that I forgot to mention too. What you're really paying for is the handicap portion of the event. They offer a scratch portion as well, but you got to pay extra for that, and that is what I enrolled in because I wanted to see, out of curiosity, of course, what I would place on the handicap on the scratch side. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you that. Okay, so here is the scratch side pot result. So with the scratch result that I got of 1764, I managed to finish 11th. That had me like totally mind blown. Like, are you kidding me? I averaged 220. I felt like I had bowled great, and it still wasn't even enough to make the top 10. That right there is like a wake up call. That is a slap in the face to make me realize this stuff is no joke. You gotta go hard. Even, like, this is crazy. Like, even with a 220 average, it still isn't enough. You could still, like, it's crazy. Like, I remember watching a game in the PBA. It was Jacob Buttriff bowling 300 back when, like, there were no crowds allowed. And I think somebody, I don't know if it was Norm Duke or Anthony Simonson, but somebody posted a 279, and that had me realize, holy smokes, like, you could still bowl a 270 game and still lose. That was basically what this was for me. Like, I could still average 220 and still it wouldn't be good enough. That was like a realization to me, like, this stuff is no joke. You gotta be 100% from beginning to end. And that was crazy. I don't know how these people do it, but yeah, the winner from the scratch side pot was Justin Aboud. And I do believe that this kid is in his early 20s. So he's a youngster. So that totally blows my mind that a youngster could post a 1979 series. Guys, that is a 247 average. That is insanity to me. But yeah, Gary was there. I'm sure you got any of you who stuck around my channel know I mentioned Gary Gardner Jr. plenty of times on my channel. He is a phenomenal bowler, and typical Gary doing what he does. He bowled a 1908 series, and I don't know what that averages out to. You guys could probably do the math for me. But yeah, Sean Memlock, that is the guy who drills all my bowling balls for me. I can always count on him to help me out. He is one of the main reasons why I have gotten as good as I have gotten, and why I know what I know about the game. He participated too, and he managed to average 1855, which I found that to be a little shocking because he is one of the best in this house. The last time he participated in an 8-gamer, it was in the second one that I participated in. I averaged 207 and he averaged like 250 or something like that. And had it not been for the first game that he posted like a 170 something, it would have been a 260 average that he posted. So he went off on the main stage. But in this one, he fell a bit short and he only managed to get 5th. So but yeah, that's still very impressive that because he doesn't really bowl a whole lot because he's always in the shop and he's always got other stuff to deal with. And the fact that he could just come right out of the gate and finish with an 1855 is impressive. But yeah, there we go. That is how I managed to do. I still say, a massive improvement, obviously. 220 average, the fact that I'm able to do that for 8 games, I'm still real happy about that. The fact that I was able to make most of my spares, I chopped on a couple, but, form definitely needs some work. Obviously, as we saw, I fell off on a lot of my shots at the foul line, but that's no big deal. It didn't affect a lot of my shots, but, improved, massive improvement. I felt like I achieved what I wanted, and I feel like now I can walk into the next one doing a whole hell of a lot better. I'm glad that I made better choices with the kind of arsenal that I brought to this thing. And yeah, if I choose to go for the one in October, I expect that I will improve a lot more. So, yeah, that was my run at the 8 Gamer. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm Frank the Tank. Nothing more to say other than I'll see you guys in week number 12 of League. So, see you around.